The entire bank lobby fell silent the moment the sound of ripping paper echoed through the building. Hundreds of tiny pieces of an $11 million check fluttered onto the polished marble floor like broken dreams. Every customer stopped breathing. Every phone camera lifted into the air. Standing in the middle of the lobby was a tired black single father whose only crime seemed to be wearing worn-out jeans, old work boots, and carrying hope in his hands. The bank manager believed she had exposed a fraud. She had no idea that within the next few minutes, her own boss would rush across the lobby, look directly at the humble father, and say a single word that changed everything. "Sir. Before we continue, if you believe kindness should always come before judgment, please take a moment to like this video, comment where you're watching from, share this story with someone who believes in second chances, and subscribe to the channel Light of Kindness. Your support helps us share more stories that inspire hope." Malik Carter had spent most of his life fighting battles nobody else could see. 5 years earlier, his wife had lost her life after a sudden illness, leaving him alone to raise their 8-year-old daughter, Nia. Every morning before sunrise, Malik prepared breakfast, braided his daughter's hair the best he could, walked her to school, and then worked 2 exhausting jobs. During the day he repaired city buses. At night he cleaned office buildings after everyone had gone home. Sleep became a luxury he rarely enjoyed, but every sacrifice was made for one purpose. He wanted Nia to believe that no matter how difficult life became, dignity could never be taken away from a person who refused to give up. Unknown to nearly everyone around him, Malik had once helped an elderly stranger during a terrible highway accident years before. While dozens of drivers simply watched, Malik had climbed into a burning vehicle and pulled the injured man to safety, refusing any reward before quietly returning to work. That elderly man had never forgotten the stranger who saved his life. Over the years they stayed in occasional contact through handwritten letters, and before his passing, the grateful businessman made an extraordinary decision. Having no close family of his own, he left a significant portion of his fortune to the man who had shown him true courage without expecting anything in return. Weeks after the funeral, Malik received official legal documents confirming the inheritance. The amount seemed impossible to believe. $11 million. He read the papers again and again, convinced there had been a mistake. Even after lawyers verified every signature and every document, he remained the same humble father who still drove an aging pickup truck and packed homemade lunches for his daughter every day. The morning he visited Globex Bank was bright and peaceful. Malik wore his cleanest shirt, though it had been carefully stitched at the sleeves after years of use. His boots carried scratches from thousands of hours of honest labor. He held the check carefully inside a weathered envelope as though it might disappear if he blinked. Walking through the bank doors, he smiled politely at everyone he passed, unaware that several people had already begun quietly judging him. The bank manager, Vanessa Holloway, noticed him immediately. Years of working behind expensive counters had slowly replaced compassion with suspicion. When she saw the enormous amount written across the check, she barely looked at the legal paperwork that accompanied it. Instead, she focused on Malik's appearance. In her mind, someone dressed like him simply could not possibly possess a legitimate check worth $11 million. Without asking respectful questions or verifying the documents properly, she accused him of attempting fraud. Customers nearby turned to watch as whispers spread across the lobby. Some shook their heads. Others secretly recorded the confrontation with their phones. Malik remained remarkably calm. He explained that the inheritance had been verified by attorneys and politely offered every supporting document in his folder. But Vanessa had already made her decision. Then came the moment nobody would ever forget. In front of dozens of witnesses, she grabbed the check, declared it fake, and ripped it into pieces. The fragments floated through the air while silence filled every corner of the bank. Malik stood frozen, not because of the money, but because of the humiliation. Years of working honestly, years of teaching his daughter about respect, all seemed crushed in a few careless seconds. Just then, the elevator doors opened. Richard Beaumont, the regional president of Globex Bank, walked quickly into the lobby after receiving an urgent message from the bank's legal department regarding a very important client expected that morning. The moment his eyes landed on Malik, his expression changed completely. He hurried forward, ignoring everyone else in the room. With genuine respect, he extended both hands and quietly said, "Sir, I am deeply sorry." Every employee stared in disbelief. Richard had personally reviewed the inheritance file earlier that week. The attorneys handling the estate represented one of the bank's oldest and most respected clients. Malik Carter was not only the rightful recipient of the inheritance but also someone the late businessman had described as the bravest and most honorable man he had ever known. When Richard noticed pieces of the destroyed check scattered across the floor, the color drained from his face. The legal paperwork remained untouched in Malik's folder, proving beyond any doubt that every dollar was legitimate. The bank president immediately instructed senior staff to prepare a certified replacement check directly from the estate while personally apologizing to Malik in front of every customer. He assured him that the original documents were sufficient and that the destroyed paper would not affect the transfer. Vanessa stood speechless. The confidence she had displayed only moments earlier disappeared beneath overwhelming regret. For the first time in years, she realized she had not judged a document. She had judged a human being. Malik could have demanded immediate punishment. He could have shouted or humiliated her exactly as she had humiliated him. Instead, he simply looked around the crowded lobby and quietly said that respect should never depend on someone's clothes, skin color, or bank balance. Every person who walks through those doors deserves dignity before suspicion. His calm words carried far greater power than anger ever could. News of the incident spread across the city within hours. The videos people had recorded no longer focused on a torn check. They focused on the quiet strength of a father who refused to let bitterness define him. Thousands praised his grace under pressure, while organizations invited him to speak about kindness, integrity, and overcoming prejudice. Months later, Malik used much of the inheritance to establish scholarships for children from struggling single-parent families and opened a community learning center where young people could receive tutoring, meals, and mentorship completely free. Every wall inside the building carried one simple message: character is the greatest wealth anyone can possess. Nia often watched children laughing in the classrooms her father's generosity had created. She realized the greatest gift her father had received was never the money itself. It was the opportunity to transform pain into hope for countless other families. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a heartfelt comment, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to Light of Kindness so together we can spread more stories that remind the world compassion still exists. Speech balloon special request: comment below with the words, "Respect everyone." Let the world know that true character is revealed not by wealth or appearance, but by the kindness we show to every human being. As Malik walked hand in hand with Nia beneath the warm afternoon sun, he understood that life had come full circle. The $11 million would change their future, but forgiveness had protected his heart. In the end, the greatest victory was not proving he was wealthy. It was proving that humility, dignity, and kindness will always outshine prejudice. And for everyone who witnessed that unforgettable day inside the bank, one lesson remained forever impossible to forget: never underestimate a person simply because their greatness isn't visible at first glance.